Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the Houston Texans selected Will Anderson at 3rd overall and traded from 12 to 3 to draft Will Anderson. And if you are wondering by my voice, why does he sound like this? Why does he sound like he's depressed or upset about the Texans draft pick? I am not. I'm over the moon, thrilled. But my voice has taken enough for one day. And I'm not getting sick or anything. I'm okay to do this video, but the amount of screaming and the amount of excitement I got, not only when Stroud went 2, but when the moment I found out that the Texans were trading for the 3rd overall pick, and we all kind of knew that was going to be Will Anderson. And then once it was officially Will Anderson, I'm like, okay, all right, I think I'm going to lose it here. I was actually over the moon and screaming. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I went crazy just because after, 4 years, I mean, I think it might be a little under. I mean, since COVID, which is COVID. I mean, since the NFL came back since COVID. And I hate to say it, we've sucked. We've sucked. And that's even 1 year with Deshaun, we sucked. We've sucked 3 years. 3 years in a row. 2 were without Deshaun. 1 was with Deshaun. I mean, Deshaun had one of the best seasons I've ever watched, and we still went 4-13 that season. I think was 4-13. So, just going back to that 2020 season. Deshaun Watson, that was the year after we traded D-Hop. We still had J.J. Watt, still had a decent defense, had Watson. Watson had decent weapons like Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks. And we sucked. We could not win ball games. The offense was horrible. The chemistry was horrible. But Deshaun Watson did play his life out that season. He had the most passing yards in the NFL that season. I mean, he was one of the best quarterbacks in that season, but their record was 4-13. I think that's going to be down of the all-time, that's going to be one of the best quarterback seasons by a quarterback that had by a team that had the record of 4-13. So you got that year with Deshaun balling his life out, and you're still going 4-13. Then the next season, life after Deshaun, trash, horrible season. Tyrod Taylor did some stuff as the quarterback. Then Davis Mills took over. That was a horrible season. Then this last season, which was a disaster. The last 3 years have been awful, and and if you really want to go back, it's been awful since the Texans were up 24-0 against the Chiefs and blew the lead. Since then, it's been a curse for this team, and once the Texans made the head coach hiring with DeMeco Ryans, things slowly started to get better. Then the Texans started to make some moves with free agency and trades. Traded for Bucks offensive, I think guard. He's a guard, Shaq Mason, which will provide some help with the line. Signed Jimmy Ward. Signed Denzel Perryman for the defense, so two good guys there for the defense. Signed Noah Brown, wide receiver for the Cowboys, had a great season. Signed Devin Singletary, who was the Bills starting running back. Signed Dalton Schultz. So things in free agency and trades and coaching staff moves and bringing most likely the right guys for this organization with staff and started to make the organization feel a little bit better and make the team a tiny bit better. But it wasn't that ultimate jump in the draft tonight when the Texans selected C.J. Stroud at 2 and then traded up for Will Anderson. Before I talk about Will Anderson coming to the Houston Texans, I'm going to go over the trade details. The Texans trade the 12th overall pick to the Cardinals for 3. The Texans also give up pick 33, which is the first pick the second pick in the second round. But if this was a regular draft and the Dolphins didn't forfeit a pick, 33 would be the first pick of the second round. Then they also get a 2024 first round pick, which to this moment, I still don't know if we gave up our first round pick or the Browns' first round pick, which we had from the Watson trade. Then we also gave up, what else did we also? I think a seventh round pick. We gave up from. We gave up a seventh round pick, and then we gave up a 2020. No, we didn't give up a seventh actually. Then we gave instead. I was thinking about I thought it was a seventh, but it was actually a 2024 third round pick. And then in return, the Texans received obviously the third overall pick, and then the 105th pick of this year's draft, which is a fourth round pick. I think that's I don't know if that's an early. I think that is kind of early. That's kind of mid. I think first pick in the fourth round is like 90 something. So that's about near the mid round and fourth round. So Texans get a mid fourth round, and then they get the third overall pick and select Will Anderson for all that stuff there. So I think that was an excellent job by the Texans. Will Anderson's going to be a stud for the defense. Not only do I think that defense, if the Texans didn't even get Anderson in this draft, I thought the Texans defense was going to be pretty solid next season with some of the moves they've made at free agency and trades. And then you add D'Amico Ryans coming in to run the defense. I thought D'Amico in some of those acquisitions, like Jimmy Ward, Denzel Perryman, having Stingley healthy for next season, a full healthy Stingley, Jalen Petrie for his second season, along with Christian Harris, John Grenard for hopefully a healthy season as well. So you have Grenard and Stingley for a healthy season, and then D'Amico running those guys at the defense. I thought that was going to just right there going to make that defense automatically better. But now you add in Will Anderson, that Texans defense is going to be amazing. So I'm so excited for it, and I mean he's going to be a stud on this Texans defense. Someone was talking to me. Well, I have one of my dad's really close good friends is a Cowboys fan. He's a Texans hater, but even he told me tonight the Texans did good tonight. He hates the Texans. He's a Cowboys fan, and I still love him though because he's really my dad's been close with him since like they were 10 years old. But I still love him. It's hard to love someone who's a Cowboys fan, but I deal with it. But I talked to him after the 26th overall pick with the Cowboys, and I asked him what he thought about the Texans. He said, "You know what? I hate the Texans, but they actually did a really good job tonight." And then I said, "Well, how many wins do you think they get next season?" And I was surprised of his answer. He said, "I think in the area of 7-9." And I don't disagree with him. I think that is a definite chance. I think it depends on Stroud's development. I don't think, obviously, it's going to take some use. Anderson's going to have to get used to the NFL. I think it's going to be way harder for Stroud than it will be for Anderson. But one thing he did say to me, I was like, what? He said that, we still got to deal with the Titans. Besides Derrick Henry, I don't know what we have to do with the Titans. They don't really have anybody to throw the ball to. They really didn't trust Malik Willis last season. And even if Malik Willis is the quarterback, they don't really trust anybody to throw the ball. They don't really have anybody for him to throw the ball to, besides hand it off to Derrick Henry. Their defense is not that great. So the Texans' only problem with dealing with the Titans was not being able to stop Derrick Henry. Now you add in Will Anderson. That's a really big bright side for the Texans. Is when you match up against the Titans now, you have a way to stop. Derrick Henry. And another thing against the Jaguars in 2 games against them last season, I don't think it was that big in their first matchup when we beat them. We beat them 13-6, but in our second matchup when they beat us like 26-3 at home, I think I got that score right. Travis Etienne went crazy on the Texans. So now you bring in Will Anderson to hopefully be able to be there and just bring some control on stopping Travis Etienne when you face the Jaguars twice a year. And then if Jonathan Taylor's fully healthy next season, you have a guy who's to stop Jonathan Taylor, who just killed the Texans in 2021. So you have 3 really talented running backs in the division that the Texans really couldn't stop in 2021 or 2022. So I think, or Derrick Henry, I say 2021 and 22, the Texans haven't been able to stop him forever. So I think that's a really nice bright side with Will Anderson. Another thing is the pressure he's going to bring to the quarterback. Texans sacks are going to go up. The sacks were pretty decent for the Texans next season. I think it's just going to only lift up than it already was. The amount of pressure he's going to bring to the quarterback next season. I felt like our defensive line gave up a lot of time for the opponent's quarterbacks to throw the ball last season. I think Will Anderson's going to be a big reason why that quarterback of the opponent's going to have a lot of less time to throw the ball next season. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what happens, and I'm so excited for this new journey for the Houston Texans. That's the video. If you guys enjoyed, my thoughts, and peace out. Go Texans.